Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about episode 26 of Erkenci and also Can and Demet's performance on O Ses Türkiye, so the voice of Turkey. In my opinion, this was more of a transition episode to get the story going to the next stage, kind of. So I would call it the Mama Divot stage. So we didn't get a lot of Sanem, so romance scenes, and also not that many comic scenes, so not very much of JJ, but it was there a little bit here, a little bit there. All in all, it was more of an episode to kind of move the story forward. So the story starts off where we left, when the police came and told Can he had to come with them to the station, and then they reveal who has filed a complaint against Can, and it was who else but Fabri. Of course, I knew it, and it was just like seriously. When Can said, call my lawyer, and Leila was like, I already called, he's on his way, I was hoping it would be Metin, but it wasn't, it was some other guy. But I would really like to see Can and Metin getting along again. So maybe in the far future, sometime they will make up and be friends again. Maybe Metin will be the one and help Can like get the shares back. And when I heard all the things that Can was charged with, I was like, oh my god, seriously, like these things didn't happen. So I really do hope that they will get some camera footage to prove that Can is innocent, but at the same time it's not necessary anymore because Fabri withdrew his complaint, so it would make a lot of sense. But maybe some camera footage will appear and just show that Fabri planned it all with Eileen. I don't know. This is just my brain going in some direction. But anyways, they went to the station. Sanem was losing her mind because of the charges and because of the fact that Can is being held there. I felt kind of sorry for Emre because you could really see that he regrets everything he did. So he's become more human. But then he's calling Fabri and Eileen, and I'm like, oh my god, please don't do something stupid. And then Eileen picks up and is like, hello, and he's trying to kind of solve this problem to make it all right again, and she's like, Tut, I will take care of it, blah blah blah. Oh my god, like, Emre, please don't trust this woman ever again. But he does, and if he wouldn't trust her, the story wouldn't continue. So it all makes sense, but at the same time it frustrates me, but then it doesn't because the story continues, if that makes sense. So I have to say, I like Jada more than I like Eileen and Fabri, and that's, if you've watched my previous videos you would know I don't like her very much, but for me to say that, it's a big thing. Then we also see Can being locked up, being in prison, and I'm like, oh no, Can, I don't want to see you like that. And Sanem being sad and crying and not wanting to leave him, and he's like, he was stronger than everybody else. He was like, go back to the company, work like nothing happened, it's going to be alright, because he knows the truth that all those charges aren't true. Maybe that's why he was so relaxed. But I felt really bad for him because there was also a scene where he was alone in the cell just with the blanket, and then he was thinking about Sanem, and Sanem did the same thing. But before that, before he was sitting alone in the cell, the police officer read out all the charges, and the lawyer is just like, meh. He didn't really do much. I wasn't very convinced by that lawyer. Honestly, I didn't like him. So I was really wishing for Metin to appear and be Can's lawyer, but yeah. So while Can, Sanem, Emre and Leila are at the station, we get to see what it's like in the company, and that everyone is talking about this incident. Daran also screamed for the first time again. I was so relieved that she is back. JJ was like losing his mind hoping for the company not to get bankrupt. And she's like, well, JJ, you're in charge of the order in this company, and if something goes wrong, you will be fired, or you'll be the one responsible for it. And he's like, oh my god, like screaming and just losing his mind, doing everything right. I laughed so much. And then Darren saying, well, don't tell anyone about the situation around Jan and just keep it a secret. And he's like, a secret? Couldn't you have used a different word? A secret? I can't keep a secret. It was so hilarious. And then Jada comes and I'm like, oh man, why do you have to come? But at the same time, I kind of understood the reason why she came, because she was kind of concerned about this business relationship. So yeah, she didn't annoy me that much in this episode. She still annoyed me, but not that much. And she's like, do you have any news? And Gigi just speaks out and just tells her everything, and Darren is like, oh my god. But she already knew, so it was no huge problem, but it was very funny. And then Darren going with Jada in John's office and talking about this whole situation, and then Jada saying, well, it's all because of Sanem. Oh, such a shame, blah blah blah. And then I didn't like it that Darren was bonding with Jada over the fact that they don't really like Sanem. I felt so bad for Sanem, because when they all came back from the station, everyone was talking about her, about the situation, why John did it and blah blah blah, and people were saying, well, it's all Sanem's fault, and since she came to this company all things happened. And I felt really bad for her. And then she went to the archives, and then JJ came as well, and trying to make her feel better, to come up with an idea to get John out of prison. So it was such a good friend. I would love to have such a friend. He's so amazing, really. I just love JJ. In general, the JJ-Sanem relationship, I love it so much. Then Sanem calls Fabi to meet up. So they make this deal. She gives him her perfume, and in return, he has to withdraw the complaint, transfer the shares. In that moment, I was like, girl, you had to specify it. Like, you had to say specifically transfer it back to John or to Emily. I mean, Fabi did transfer it, but he transferred it to Eileen, so not a very good move. So I knew shite is going to hit the fan, but I mean, it did. But I wasn't very happy with that move. But anyways, I hope I didn't forget anything. But those are the more important conditions she had. Oh yeah, and during this meeting with Sanem, he was like, well, I'm a businessman, I will fight till I win. And I'm like, oh yeah, and another thing that Sanem said was for John not to know about this deal. I don't know if it was a good move, I don't think so, but I really do hope that she will tell him very soon, because otherwise it will just blow up and cause much more trouble than it would if she told him that she did it, if it makes sense. But anyways, she said that, and the next day Fabi keeps his promise and releases John. You could really see that John is really suspicious, and he doesn't trust Fabi at all. And the same goes for Emre, because when John came back to the company, everyone was happy, and then Eileen comes and is like, well, it's because of me, because I blackmailed Fabi and I got the shares, and it's all in your interest, and I did it all for you, and blah blah blah, so you should be happy about it. And John was very angry about it, and Emre couldn't really believe it, because as John said, Emre was like, well, I don't believe that he would withdraw the charges so easily just because of Eileen. So he's suspicious as well, but more so is John. And then while this talk between Emre and Eileen takes place in his office, Leila comes and looks at his office, and Eileen sees her and kisses Emre, and Leila is just shocked and goes away. And this is such a typical thing that happens in movies. Like, they don't see the reaction of the person they're in love with, so she didn't see how Emre reacted, because he got really angry and was like fuming, but she didn't see that. so she thinks that they are back together, and that's also why she gives Osman a chance, which is, I don't know how to say it, I feel really bad for Osman because he will get his hopes up, but at the same, like, Leila tries to fall in love with him, but she can't really because she still loves Emre, and it's just like such a complicated situation, and I really feel bad for Osman. But then seeing him so happy, and when they are at the restaurant and he gets recognized by fans and they say, well, can your girlfriend take a picture of us? And she's like, I'm not, and then he just doesn't know what to say, and she just plays along, and she tells him, well, you will get recognized more often now because you're this huge star. And he's like, I don't know the exact words, but he's like, I want one person to notice me. And Leila's like, is that me? And he just smiles. So I felt really bad for him, but I really like to see them both together, but at the same time not, because I'm all for Leila and Emre and Osman and Dagan, kind of. To stay in the Leila, Emre, Osman storyline a little bit longer, Leila tells Sanem that she will give Osman a chance, and Sanem is over the moon. She's so happy, she supports this relationship. And then the next day, Leila looks so good in purple. I loved her outfit. I just thought she looked so beautiful. Anyways, she's at this table and he comes and tries to get her like to work with him, but then Eileen comes and he's still lurking around Leila kind of, and Eileen wants to talk with him, but he's like, I have work to do, and just flips through this folder. And then Osman calls and she talks with Osman, and he's just motionless, standing there listening to this conversation. And Eileen tries to talk to Emre and he's like, Leila, not Leila, she's like, Eileen, I have work, not now, go to my office. And she's just really fed up. And I love the fact that Leila doesn't budge a bit. Like, she shows him that she's not desperate, so you can really see that he needs her more than she does him. And the fact that he's like, well, I wanted you to bring me the folders, not someone else, or just to mail it to me. I want you to work with me and to go over those things. And she's like, well, take this notebook, write all your points down and I will work on it. And he wasn't very pleased by this thing. And as I said, I really like this new, strong, empowered Leila. Nihat and Mevkebe still haven't made up, and it's just sad, but at the same time funny to see how they talk with each other, because you can see that they still love each other. For example, when he slips from the steps, she catches him and he's just all, oh, she hugs me, blah blah blah, but then goes back into this angry, dismissive mode. And when she comes with Burek, for example, he smells it and is like so happy, and then as soon as he turns and sees her, he's again in this angry mode. And her being very concerned about the people talking about Nihat having wrinkled clothes on. And then he goes to the house and overhears Mevkebe talking to Melahat about, well, she didn't do anything wrong, he should stay there, blah blah blah. And he's like, well, if that's the case, then I thought you wanted to make peace, like to make up. Well, he packs a bag and goes back. So that was really funny to see. And I have to say, I actually cried watching the Sanem and Nihat scene. It just broke my heart. And at the same time, I don't know, I don't really know what I felt, but I felt way too many emotions, and I can't really put it into words, but I cried my eyes out. I hope I wasn't the only one, because it was so emotional. And her being like comparing the situation to a storm, and then Sanem is like, well, do you remember when I was little and would come into your room to sleep with you? So Mevkebe and Nihat, because there was a storm outside, it was very scary and you would protect me from it. And it was so emotional. And then him crying, her crying, then Nihat saying, well, you didn't disappoint me at all, you just grew up so fast. And him asking her if she found the right person to protect her from thunder. It was so emotional. I just cried. I was like a mess watching that scene, and I loved it. I really did, with all of my heart. And then her trying to say, well, come back home because mom made you food, blah blah blah, your favorite food. And he's like, well, don't get involved in this. This is something between you and your mom. Not you and your mom, this is just something between me and your mom, don't worry. And I just, oh my god, it just broke my heart, really. I loved it. I completely forgot about Musa. I mean, he was just so amazing when he got the news that Can is in prison and now he has a chance with Sanem, and he was all happy. And then Aysun just grabbing this opportunity and just going to Mevkibe and telling her, well, look at your son-in-law, he beat someone up, maybe he will beat Sanem up as well, blah blah blah. And just, I was like, Aysun, come on, like seriously, she's in the same category as Jada, Eileen and Fabri. Like, Aysun is most harmless person of them all, so it's from most harmless to the worst. And it's like Aysun, Jada, and then I can't really decide who's worse, Fabri or Eileen. Kind of both, but a little bit more Eileen than Fabri. But back to Musa. And then one day he comes all dressed up with flowers, and Aysun is like, well, what are you doing with those flowers? And he's like, well, I'm going to Sanem and blah blah blah. He just has this fantasy. And then Ayhan comes and is like, well, haven't you heard the news? He's innocent and he got out. And Musa's world just collapses and he's so devastated. Then we have Sanem and Fabri meeting again, her giving him the perfume she made, and she's written the recipe down. And I was so hoping that she would just mess something up and not give him the exact recipe or the exact smell. But judging from her reaction when she walks away, she was really devastated, really kind of disappointed in herself, I would say. But at the same time, she's like, well, I'm doing this for the love of my life. I really liked it that she told Fabri that that's not how she wanted the transfer to happen, so that the shares would land in Eileen's lap. But he's like, well, you didn't specify, blah blah blah. Just as I said before, the one mistake she made was setting those conditions. And then when she walks away, he's like, well, we will meet again or see you soon, kind of. So he will disappear again for some time but reappear again. I think this is like a hide and seek for Fabri. And then we also have Can taking Sanem to the secret place he hasn't taken anyone before, by the sea. So it's his place where he came when he was a little boy, wishing for his parents to make up for just little boy wishes. And it was so cute for him to take Sanem there as well, for her to wish that Mevkibe and Nihat would make up again. So it was really, really adorable, this scene, and I really liked it because towards the end he made fun of her and was very sarcastic. And then Mama David appears. Dun dun dun. I have to say, she doesn't look very nice. And how she behaved when she walked into Mevkibe and Nihat's shop, and Mevkibe was like, well, welcome, hello, and she's like, and just touched her a little bit, and with gloves, and then not wanting to sit down and just having a certain kind of water. It's just like horrible. Like, this woman will cause a lot of drama, I'm sure of it. And then when Sanem comes back from her wishing trip with Can, and she sees Mama David getting angry with the cat because she doesn't like cats, she just gets really, really angry and says, well, come here, put like food in the bowl, blah blah blah. You could see that Mama David was kind of scared of Sanem and she just wanted to escape the situation very, very quickly. There will be a lot of tension between Mama David and Sanem, like they will butt heads or however you call it, but it's not going to be nice, I'm sure of it. What I forgot to say is that Emre was sitting outside thinking about Leila and his time with her, and he said something about 3 days. I didn't really understand this reference. Was it 3 days since they broke up? Is it like 3 days till he solves the problem? I don't get it. I don't get this reference. I don't know if it's important or not, But anyways, I thought it was really cute that he was thinking about Leila and just smiling and thinking back to the good old times when he was happy, because he didn't do this with Eileen. Like, we didn't see Emre just sitting there thinking about Eileen. He didn't do that. And then the next day the preview happens, which we already saw, and this huge presentation for Red Mood is taking place that Sanem held, and everyone is very happy because they got the campaign. While the presentation is taking place, Eileen comes and is like, well, I'm late, I'm sorry, blah blah blah, let's go to the meeting room. And Emre is holding her back and being like, well, this is not a good idea, this is very important for us. And then he says something about, let me establish, like, give me more time, let me establish your relationship. I don't know if something was lost in translation, maybe it was. I didn't really get this reference. What kind of relationship? I don't understand it, but maybe we will get an explanation in the future. I really do hope that Emre will stay on the good side, on John's side, to protect him, to help him do good stuff and not go back to Eileen and Fabri's side. And then everyone is congratulating Sanem, and Dagan is like, well, let's have a party in John's house. He doesn't complain about it, and that's the party I said in my prediction in my last video that it's a New Year's Eve party, which wasn't the case because it was just a celebratory party because they got this huge campaign. Jada comes as well, which I wasn't very amused by, but I kind of got it because of her they got to meet Mackinnon and this whole deal happened, so it was okay because she wasn't too much in our faces. But someone rings the doorbell, Sanem goes to the door, she's shocked because the lady from the neighborhood who got angry with the cat is standing there. Mama David not understanding a thing why this girl is in John's house, and then they kind of get into a minor fight. John is like, why are you screaming, Sanem? And he comes, sees his mother. They look at each other and she says John and he says mother, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the end. And Sanem being so shocked, and this is the end. We didn't get any preview because they're on this 3-week break kind of, so no trailer, no preview. So this is a very smart move by the Erkenci Kush team, because I think such a cliffhanger really leaves you wanting to know more, what's going to happen next. So this is the best timing, like this is the best end they could have picked. I'm really excited to see what episode 27 will give us. I think that the party will end quite quickly because of Mama David arriving, her kind of confronting John about things, maybe Sanem staying there listening to Mama David, or she will go away. Yeah, this is all I can say for now. I don't have a preview, I don't have a trailer to kind of interpret more things, but this is what I imagine the party to be like. I don't know, I honestly don't have any more predictions, but all in all I have to say I love this episode. It was a transitional episode, of course you can't always have Janem moments, but all in all it got the story forward. We got to meet Mama David and it's kind of a new stage in my opinion, so I'm really excited to see where the story is going. And now to Can and Demet's performance on O Ses Türkiye. So the first thing that I've noticed was on, I don't know if it was a shirt or leather something, but Can had this black, I would call it a shirt. So Can had this black shirt on with white birds. I don't know, was it an Erkenci Kush reference? I have to say I wasn't having quite high expectations. I mean, Demet already sang the title song of Erkenci Kush, so we know that she can sing. But Can, I wasn't very positive that he could sing. I mean, he can sing somehow, but I think he should stay in the acting world and not pursue the singing route. But all in all, I kind of liked the song. It was very funny how they made it. So she was alone there and starting to sing, and then in the song she says come my love or something like that, or come, and he's coming from the back and is like, I'm coming, which was very funny and I liked it a lot. And also the conversation they had with the judges. So I know Morad Boz. I also knew Beyaz. The ladies, I didn't know who they were, but I was surprised that all four of them turned around, because that didn't have to be the case, because I watched till I found their performance. I watched other performances as well, and they didn't turn around just for the sake of it. Sometimes just 2 turned around, sometimes 3, sometimes 4. So I was really surprised to see that all 4 judges turned around and were kind of talking positively about their performance. And as I said, it was very funny, this whole conversation that they had after the performance. All in all, I liked it. It was a nice show, to be honest. I kind of watched the whole episode because I didn't know when they were performing, so I kind of had to go through all the other performances. So seeing some familiar faces was kind of nice, and yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. I like their performance. Of course, Can can't sing as well as Demet. It was nicely done. It was cool that he just went for it, but at the same time you saw that he was kind of nervous singing, which was kind of adorable. As I said, I don't know what else to say. I liked it. I don't know the original song, so I can't really judge the singing except for how it sounded to my ears, but it was better than I imagined. So yeah, so this is it for my Erkenci episode 26 review, plus the O Ses Türkiye performance by Can and Demet. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It would really mean a lot to me. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already to see more Erkenci reviews or just videos that I make in general. And I will see you next time. Bye!